A weary Jania rises to face another long day at the beginning of the film. We learn that the girl is ill as she gets her daughter ready for school. Seizures occur in her, and she takes medication to control them. She fell and bruised her back the day before from having one while taking a bath. Despite Arya's assurances that she can bathe alone, her mother is still too afraid to let her alone. The girl also begs her mom for $40 because her teacher scolded her for having a special lunch instead of bringing her own lunch money and for eating the unhealthy food she needed to be healthy. Jania promises to drop over before lunch to hand over the cash, even if she's tardy for work. The landlady who has already sent Jania with an eviction notice is in a similar financial bind and wants immediate payment. In the event that she does not receive her payment, she threatens to dispose of everything. Jania promises to return around noon after receiving her paycheck to hand her the cash. After dropping off her daughter at school, she heads to the grocery store for work, where her boss is already fuming over her tardiness. His lack of concern for her is immediately apparent during their first encounter. Her coworker is the only one who exhibits any genuine concern. The school for Jania's daughter calls her the second she goes to the office. They are urging her to go immediately. Her boss isn't a fan of her hasty departure, but he'll let her go if she promises to return in half an hour. Despite her inadequacy, she decides to depart nonetheless. Her account balance is $47, so she has to go to the bank across the street to withdraw $40. They told her she has to keep a specific amount in her account and that she can't withdraw any more money. When Jania showed up at her daughter's school, social services took her child away from her. The teacher had called them because they were worried that Jania couldn't take care of her child properly. Things get worse when another car hits her small car. She can't stop the motorist from striking her because he is a police officer, so she has to take responsibility for what he does. Because of this, she gets a ticket and has to have her car towed. She is now 2 hours late for work, which gives her boss a reason to fire her. He says she will have to wait for her paycheck in the mail instead of giving it to her immediately away. When Jania gets home, the landlady has thrown away all of her things, including her daughter's medicine and the scientific project she was working on for school. Jania goes back to work feeling sad and asks her boss to pay her, but he still won't. At that exact moment, 2 men came into the store, trying to steal from it while also holding Jania and her boss at gunpoint. Things get so bad that Jania shoots one of the robbers while they are trying to steal her daughter's things, such her science project. Her boss gets even angrier and confronts her, saying she was part of the robbery. When he calls 911 to report her, she ends his disagreement by killing him. She exits the store with her check and walks across the street to the bank to cash it. She pulls out the pistol to scare the bank teller into giving her the money after she is told she requires an ID, which she subsequently says was stolen. The woman thinks it's a robbery because of a misunderstanding, so she presses the emergency button, which lets the police know about the crime. Adding the robbery to the mix makes things even worse for Jania. She is already a suspect in the death of her former boss. That's just the beginning of the problem. Jania loses a lot of important things: her daughter to social services, her job, her car, and her paycheck. After that, she holds up a bank at gunpoint. But the worst thing that happened was that her daughter died after a terrible seizure. At first, she tried to hide the loss, but then she started to hallucinate her daughter to deal with it. This repression falls apart when she gets a call from her mother, which shows how sad she really is. After murdering her boss and kidnapping a bank teller, Jania's sentence to prison becomes imminent. Under normal conditions, she would serve a life sentence without parole, but the facts of this case make that impossible. Evidence abounds that Jania hasn't been rational since the day began, and many others can attest to the same. Her mental instability and the fact that she was robbed out of the blue will still be used by the defense to strengthen her case, even though the fact that her boss died will make things harder for her. Proving her lack of intent to steal from the bank shouldn't be too difficult. Despite her threatening behavior, her only goal was to collect a check for approximately $500. It was literally on the table, so if it had been about money, she could have snatched it all from her boss's mansion. Yet she merely pocketed her salary. When the anxious bank teller placed the funds in front of her, she might have taken them, but instead, she scolded the woman and insisted that she only wanted to pay her check. The section about holding people captive is still here. It is highly probable that at least one of her hostages will testify in her favor because to the overwhelming sympathy they feel for her. The police noticed how easily she let them go and how she offered them chairs to make them feel more at ease. After learning the elderly woman had diabetes, she let her leave without hesitation. She expressed deep regret for putting her in that predicament. Even though the prosecution may attempt to use the bomb as evidence against her, it was never really detonated. Additionally, the fact that it was her daughter's science project would lend credence to her case. Jania didn't expect anything that happened that day. She was already heartbroken over losing her kid and trying to make it in a world where she felt like she was failing horribly. After looking at all the information, a shorter term or transfer to a mental institution might be the best thing for her mental health. We hope this will give her the time and space she needs to heal, get her energy back, and look forward to the future with hope. Jania spent her entire time in Straw fighting for her kid. Bank manager Nicole is pleaded with by her even as she is on the verge of being arrested to watch her child. Like Raymond, Nicole feels bad for Jania. She agrees and says she'd bring Aria to visit her mom in prison. According to Shepard, when Jania walks into the bank with the weight of the world on her shoulders, it just calls to Nicole. It completely takes her out of her suburban life. Jania is an authentic human being, and she realizes how she may be of service to her. But there's only one little reason Nicole can't bring Aria to visit her mom. Jania hears the devastating news from her mother Delores. The next morning, Aria passed away the night before due to a seizure. No matter how broken Jania feels, she can't stop seeing her baby. Like his characters, Perry was taken aback by the unexpected turn of events. According to Perry, realizing that the child wasn't there the whole time was just as shocking to me as I think it will be to the audience. When filming the scene where Jania finds out the truth about her situation, the actors and crew went through a lot of emotions. Adding, directing that scene blew us all away, Perry continues. When I spotted her on the screen, I burst into tears. You can bet that the audience will be moved as well when the crew is moved. A struggling single mother pushed to the brink by a series of unfortunate events, including job loss, eviction threats, and police misconduct. While Henson delivers an awards-worthy performance, showcasing the emotional toll on Jania through a powerful monologue and nuanced portrayal, the film's plot suffers from forced and illogical scenarios. The movie's setup, designed to create urgency, feels overly predictable and contrived, with events unfolding in a manner that strains credibility, such as an apathetic boss blaming Jania for a robbery she prevented. Despite a late-game plot twist that initially evokes sympathy, the resolution feels like a cop-out, undermining the built-up tension and leaving the audience unsatisfied with the abrupt shift in tone. Furthermore, the film's production design is criticized for its cheap aesthetic, with uninspired sets and costumes, failing to enhance the narrative despite the grounded nature of the story. However, Sherry Shepard's performance as Nicole provides a strong supporting role.